shows the first city going up, you know, the new city. And the new city is like what I described to you, only I didn't finish it. But there is no ownership of anything. You live in a beautiful home. The interior is furnished according to your specs, whatever you need. If you're an anthropologist, you can have films on anthropology without a price tag. You have films on behavioral sciences in your home. It's designed for you. Now, if your wife is an interior decorator, and you're, say, a physical scientist, and she's don't put your feet up on the table, you know, and so we designed a double dome so she can have her type of environment, you can have your type connected together. Don't try to make her over like you, or she's going to make you over like her. Don't leave your tobacco pouch around. You know, whatever women, whatever difference there are, if they're too severe, you may have a lot of areas working in common, but during the transition, there's going to be problems. So I'm talking to you about the transition. So, what happens in this city is here's how it works. We only design 1/8 of the city in this instance, and we reproduce it. Instead of having each architect design each building all around, it's much more efficient to do it that way. The central building is distribution, food, everything you use. Radio, television, communication center, schools, dental care, optics, medicine, everything is in the center. And each district is the same distance from the center. But if you build suburbia, the things you're given, the bullshit you're given, you got millions of houses, and you have to drive that way to school, this way to the dentist, that way for shopping. Waste of energy, waste of design. Here, they sell refrigerators that you put outside your window, keep your house cool. We have cool air under the ground, circulate, and those that want it, turn it on. When you walk out of your room, all the lights go out. The whole electrical system shuts down unless you press no on that. All your books are laser printed, and they're printed from the outside by focusing laser beams. And if it's medical books, they're updated unless you press hold, that you don't want them updated. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, so your house is very smart. You have no lamps like I have here. The ceiling glows evenly. And all you do is press a panel for the color blue or red, whatever you want the color to be of the interior. And instead of getting, she says, God damn, turn the air conditioner down, it's too cold, you have zone cooling and zone heating. You know what I mean? It's warm in your zone, cool in your zone. And cool the way you want it. The furniture, when you sit in it, it accommodates. The reason you move in a chair is to improve circulation, because circulation cuts out. That's what bed sores are. So when I was in the Army Air Force, they drafted me, by the way. I only designed safety devices for airplanes, only. So they said when a pilot flies a great distance, he becomes fatigued. Sometimes he gets sores on his butt, like bed sores. So I designed a seat that inflated and deflated. It's just like you moving around. And I wanted that in hospital beds. So they deflate and inflate the people that are too sick to move around. Then I began to design surgical instruments, artificial legs, for medics. And I found out that certain people couldn't afford them. Even though he didn't have a leg, he couldn't afford that leg. So I said, what the hell am I wasting my time on this monetary society? So I then, all this happened, most of this, during the Depression. Now, during the Depression, there were people up on soapboxes talking about mankind united, back to Jesus, family values, everything, socialism, communism. And every university student was talking about socialism, communism, technocracy. All these things were being discussed. All over the country, people were talking about new ideas. It took the Depression to make that happen. That's what's happening now. That's why people are looking into zeitgeist addendum, see, because things aren't working. So, to make it clear, I would say that I want to get you from one point to another in this film. I don't want to forget that. The film is about the change and what will happen during the change, how our language will be updated. If you learn a foreign language, most languages, foreign, are older. And if they're older, they're thalamic, meaning based on emotions and feeling. Cortical language is, I want to explain the difference. In thalamic language, if you're driving an automobile with both your kids in it, and it slips off the highway, and it turns over, and your kids are trapped in it, say, oh my God, the gasoline is coming, it's going over the engine, that's emotional. But if you pick up a heavy limber, break the window, take your kids out, that's cortical behavior. Converting emotions to a workable system. As I say, oh my God, my house on fire, 2 kids are in the bedroom, what can I do? That's emotional. Emotional behavior will change in the future into cortical behavior. Do you think you understand what that means? Anybody that doesn't?
What is cortical behavior?
Cortical is doing the best thing to get the kids out of the building,
Okay.
or out of the car.
The rational
Okay.
thing.
Operate, do something about it. Say, God, the winters are awfully cold. What do you suggest? Like these politicians say, you can't have socialized medicine in America, then everything else will be socialized. What do you suggest we do for people that don't have medical care? Ask them, what do you suggest? You'll never get an answer. See, they have no answers. So what you have to do is point out what doesn't work in the system. If you show people houses where without curtains, because curtains harbor all kinds of fungi, and curtains harbor all kinds of odors. So do carpets. But in the future, your windows will go dark as you want them to. If you don't want bright light, you don't put curtains in front of it. It sets a lot of dust, of course, in the air. Not because Fresco doesn't like curtains. They're just not good. So what you want your windows to go dark. And so if you want your windows to go dark, you can either verbalize that you want your windows to go dark. You'll have a built-in telephone in your ceiling, and you can speak to people in France, and no one, you don't have to pick up a gadget and hold it and talk to it. You can talk it, and it'll focus that right to your ear, so no one else in the room can hear it unless you want everyone else to hear it. The houses of the future will be smart. In other words, they will reflect light, turn themselves off when they're not in use, and you won't have to cook every morning. You know, all people making bacon and eggs every morning. All you have to do is put in, well, I better tell you this first. In the automobile factories, they spray the bottom of cars with a rubber-like material so they won't drive you crazy when it's raining. It absorbs sound. So your cars, you can't hear every drop of rain hitting it. So a guy has to spray that first under the car, and the computer follows every motion that he makes. From then on, machines do it. So you will make bacon and eggs the way you like it, whoever you like for breakfast, in front of the service computer. And it'll pick that up so that everybody doesn't do the same thing every fucking morning. The oven and the refrigerator and all that shit around. Everybody buys a refrigerator. In the future, you won't have that. I'll describe the future. I just ask you, please, don't take out patents on these things. Okay? I can't afford to patent everything I think of, so I released a lot of stuff. The oven, instead of having a hot plate, you put a pot on it, and it boils the water. All the pots of the future have a pinnacle sticking up in it. This is a sectional view of a pot to the pinnacle. The heater is in the pinnacle, so the heat only goes through the soup. Do you understand that?
No, can you explain again?
Pots have a hollow sticking up, and the heater is on the oven. And you put that pot over it, and it just heats the soup, not the whole area.
Not the whole kitchen.
Now, the electric company would hate that pot.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, because you're not heating the whole kitchen.
Right, now, all your pots and all your pans will be designed to maximize the use of heat. Now, geothermal energy is the heat of the earth. There's enough geothermal energy to supply all the nations with 10 times the energy they use, just that alone. Then there's temperature differential between the top of the ocean and the bottom. Bottom is generally cool, while the top is cool and the bottom is warm. The temperature differences can generate electricity. All water spilling over anything generates electricity, not just the spillways and turbines. You can generate enough electricity from all the rivers and waterways alone to operate everything in the world without anything else, any other source. No wind generation, anything else.